Hello, everyone. Blaine Austin here at Sewing Machines Plus, and welcome to our Thursday live show. Everybody say hi to Roger. Roger's in here with me this morning.
Hello,
Kyle is on vacation.
yes.
Kyle is down in Miami, Florida.
It's very nice and, what's the word, muggy?
Sunny and muggy.
Yes.
Or it may be raining. You never know. Anyway, I hope everybody's having a great day so far. We are here. And thank y'all for joining in. Guys, say some shout outs out there. The SMP Nation watching. My mom is watching today. Marietta Austin over in Bono, Arkansas. Everybody's wondering, where's Bono? That's close to Jonesboro, Arkansas, Arkansas State University. We have Patricia Winters over in Tennessee watching, next door to Arkansas. Laurie Scott in Wyoming. We have Candace Johnson over in Kentucky watching. Gina Colley in Buckeye, Arizona.
Hello, Gina.
I don't even know where Buckeye's at.
No,
I usually know where everywhere is at, but I don't know Buckeye. And Diana Eagleton in Texas. Susan Netter in Tucson, Arizona. We have Maria Luna in Oceanside, California. Vicki Payne down in Florida. Deborah Meeks Nixon. She's in New Mexico.
Hello, everyone.
So thank y'all for joining in today. All right, got a big question I got to ask everybody before we get the show started today. What are y'all working on right now? Put it in the chat. If you are on a sewing project, if you've been working on some stuff, let us know what it is. If it's an embroidery, let us know you've been doing some embroidery. If you're quilting, if you're just sewing, making drapes, whatever it is, let us know what your little project you got going on right now. And somebody said hello from Alaska.
Yeah, Dina Jewel.
Dina up in Alaska. Hey, and good afternoon to you. And so, yeah, let us know what you're doing on your projects out there. There's Debbie is saying, I quilt. She's working on a quilt right now. All right. Working on some sewing and embroidery for my two new grandsons, Dawn Hiltz. That's awesome, Dawn. So congratulations on the new grandsons. Candace Johnson, quilting now, just finished jelly roll rug. So everybody's kind of got a little project going on. So that is awesome. Today we're going to do a little project.
Mm-hmm.
So what we got going on for today, we're talking all about the Handi Quilter Simply 16 long arm quilting machine. And the reason we're bringing this on the show is because I think I told you a little bit about it last week. These machines were basically discontinued, and Handi Quilter came out with another model. Well, they, if y'all know anything about sewing business, they make castings, especially in the quilting business. They make these castings of the machines, and they ran across some more castings for this, and so we said, hey, would y'all make us some machines out of these? So they made some more Simply 16s just for us. We're the only ones that have them. Brand new inbox, full warranty, brand new frames. And we have a couple different frames we're going to show you today that you can get with it. And then also we got some robotics.
Oh, yeah.
So we're also going to have Aubrey Hartman on today, and she's going to talk about the Butler Robotics. Now, this morning, we were trying to get somebody live to come on and do the Simply, but nobody was available. So we actually went back to Quilt Fest and grabbed a video of Shauna Westergaard, and we're going to show her video of her doing that on Quilt Fest. And so she did the Simply 16. We're going to show that video, and then I'll tell you a little bit about, when we come back, about the machine and all that. And then we're going to bring probably about 10:30 or 10:30ish. We're going to have Aubrey Hartman on live, and then she's going to go through and show you some of the features of the Butler Robotics. And we've got a bunch of packages put together for you today, and so it'll be really good. And then tomorrow, I got to talk a little bit about tomorrow's show. Tomorrow I won't be here. I am going to be on the road, and I've got a guest host coming in. We have Belle Bruner from Arkansas going to be coming in. If y'all know Belle, she is a great quilter. She has a retreat in Arkansas, and she's going to be doing some little project things, but she's going to be doing it on the DX 4000 QVP Juki.
Great machine.
And we're going to have a special on that tomorrow, and she'll show you that machine. and Roger's going to be with her tomorrow, and so we'll have all that going on, and we'll give you a great special on that Juki tomorrow. So we'll have that, and then she's going to share a few projects that she's got going on, and some products that she has. So it's going to be a great show tomorrow. Wish I could be here, but be on the road. And so that's what's going on this week. We got tons of things constantly going on. Want to remind y'all about the virtual events that we're doing. So we've got virtual events now that you can go sign up for that will be live. And most of them are 2-day events, and you'll be able to download a list of supplies that way you can follow along with the instructor. We have a bunch of them come up in August. We have 2 more coming up in August. We've already had 2. And what we're going to do with those other 2 is not before long. You don't see them up there now. We just had them, but we're going to make them available to you. We're converting them to where you can download. You pay for it. You download the video. You'll have it forever. And then you'll be able to download the supply list as well. And then you'll be able to do this anytime. You'll have it forever, and you can take it over and over. So we're going to have that. They'll be up there. They're not up there yet on that page, but they'll be coming back. We'll put those thumbnails. And so you'll get to see those. But you see the ones up there that coming up in August. We have that Everyday Elevate, and then we have the Sew Design one, or the Sew Like a Designer. That'll be coming up as well. So we got 2 great events that are coming. Sandra Chandler is the first one, and then we have Katrina Walker coming back in August. And so everybody just loved the event so far, but you can go sign up for them now. You can download that list after you sign up, and then you'll be able to come on and follow along with the project. You can be able to ask her questions, and it's a 2-day, both of them are 2-day events. So make sure if y'all are interested in that, go sign up and get on that. And then you'll get to download the video afterward. We'll send you a link where you can download the video and have it forever. And then if y'all can't make the live event, you can still purchase it, and that way you can watch it anytime. And we're building a library for you of all this content, and you could go get it at any time. Yes. So it's going to be pretty on demand video, Roger.
SMP on demand.
Yep, that's what it's called, SMP on demand. You'll like it. All right, so let's go ahead, and we're going to jump in, and we're going to show Shauna doing the video of the Simply 16. Now, I think she talks to Jane, like she's referring to Jane a lot in here, because Jane was hosting this part of Quilt Fest. So you're not hearing wrong when she probably refers to Jane. But anyway, we're going to show that video so y'all can see the demonstration and what she can do with this Simply 16. And then I'll come back. We're going to talk a little bit about the 16. And then as soon as Aubrey's ready, we're going to bring our Aubrey in live, and we'll have her doing those, showing you the difference in the robotic systems, and you can ask her questions live. And then naturally, when we come back, if you got any questions about the Simply 16 after that video, you can ask me, and I try my best to answer those. So let's play the video, Roger, and I'll be back in here in about 28 minutes, I think.
Okay. I'm going to tell you really fast about our Simply before we get into our project. We're doing kind of a cute little project today. I've been doing table runners all week, so we're going to switch gears just a little bit, and I'm going to be doing a pillow. So I know we all have a lot of extra pillows lying around. This is one that I have just left over from Christmas. Let me move my machine out of the way here. So this one was actually hand quilted, not by me because I'm not patient enough to hand quilt. But the idea is that you can do the quilting on a block, and then you turn it into a pillow cover. So that's what we're going to show you. I'm going to show you how we can actually do this direct on the long arm today. And I know if you're a quilter like me, you have a lot of like little orphan blocks that are just kind of lying around. So I brought a couple of my orphan blocks to show you. These ones are fun. They're like the 3D type blocks where you've got the triangles, So just all of us have a bunch of orphan blocks that we're trying to figure out what to do with, right? And so my very favorite trick that I learned about quilting was when you're going to try out a couple of different blocks to figure out if you like the pattern enough to keep going, you should do the blocks in a color scheme that you really like. And that way you can use those blocks, whether it's in your decorating, you can do pillow covers, or you can use them all to make a same quilt top. I picked that little tidbit up from Christina, one of our other educators here. And I try to do that now. Anytime I'm making a block, I try it in the same colorway so that I can use it for something else. So we're going to talk really fast about the Simply 16. This is my very, very, very favorite machine. I know you guys have probably heard as a mom, you're not supposed to pick a favorite kid. I have totally picked a favorite machine as a quilter, and it's the Simply 16. My machine that I started on was an HQ 16 with it, which is basically this machine, just a few years older. And every time I come to play on this machine, I love it. I am thrilled with the stitches. The stitches are beautiful. It has a really good sturdy feel to it, but it's also light enough that you can use this machine with ProStitcher Lite. So our ProStitcher system for ProStitcher Lite is a 4-wheel carriage, and so ProStitcher Lite works with our lighter machines. This machine is actually kind of right in the sweet spot that you can use ProStitcher Lite or ProStitcher Premium with this machine. So I know that they probably have a deal where you can add on ProStitcher Lite, and that's going to be the more affordable option, but you'll have to talk to Jane and Blaine about that. I did a little bit of peeking, and I saw the deal that SMP is offering for you guys, and I'm really serious that I might have to get myself a Simply 16 because this is such a good deal. I don't know if you guys realize I have not seen a deal this good on a Simply 16 in a very, very long time. So we're going to get started. I'm going to do some quilting for you. I'm sorry, I got to tell you a few specs about this machine so you know why I love it so much. The throat space, it's 16 inches of throat space. That's why we call it the Simply 16. And this one right now is working on our 4-wheel carriage system, but you can put it on the 8-wheel carriage. So it works with ProStitcher Premium. It has a screen here at the front that is a touch screen, so you can adjust the settings here on the front. If you get it with ProStitcher, you can make adjustments here on this screen too. They do connect and integrate together so that they work together. When I'm doing free motion quilting, I like to have my needle down. We're going to do a little bit of free motion quilting, and then if we have time, I can show you a little bit of ProStitcher quilting. And so I'm going to actually drop my needle down before we start. And so there's a button here on the front that I just touch that, and it shows that my needle will be down. So when I start stitching, the needle will stay in the fabric when I'm done, so that I can, as I'm free motion quilting, it's so that I can kind of stop and look at the design and figure out where my next thread path is going to go. So right now I have my stitches dropped down to 4 stitches per inch. And I'm going to do a basting stitch around the block because you need to stabilize your quilt top before you do any quilting. And so we do a basting stitch to stabilize the quilt, even though it's just this tiny cute little bird block. I thought we'd do a bird today because it's a little bit springtime. Spring is coming up, and it's also blue and yellow, which I thought was adorable. So what I just did there was I brought up my bobbin thread, and I'll show you again. This is how you quilt on the long arm. You bring your bobbin thread up to the top side of the project so that you don't have to climb underneath the project to get the bobbin thread out of the way. So I'm just going to start stitching forward. And I do like to keep my hand on the handlebar as I'm stitching. It just allows me to have constant access to the start and stop button. And I'm just basting along the bottom, and then I'm going to come and do this little section up here. Perfect. Now, I am the kind of quilter that I do anything I can to avoid breaking my thread, meaning tying off and starting again somewhere else. So if I'm doing free motion quilting, a lot of times I actually start down in the bottom right of my project to do some of my quilting because I don't want to have to break my thread and come back up here to the top. But sometimes working right to left can be a little intimidating for people because we read left to right, and a good majority of us write left to right, right? So everyone should be doing that. We're going to come down here, and I'm going to work right to left, but I'm giving myself space that I can wiggle back and forth. That's the really important part when you're doing free motion quilting, with you're doing stipple, if you're doing any type of filler. You don't want to move in one linear direction. You want to give your space to kind of move in all directions. So I'm going to do some circles. Actually, let me turn off my gears really fast. The cool thing about this, I have my ProStitcher machine, my tablet on my machine. And so that means I am engaged right now with my cables, with my gears. And I actually am going to disengage my gears so that I can do free motion quilting. And it's just that simple. I've literally pushed a button, my gears are disengaged, and now I can move freely. So we're going to do some pebbling. And we're going to switch. I do this every single time, you guys. One of these days, Anyone who's been watching all week, you know I do this every time. I'm going to bump my stitches back up. So when I do a basting stitch, I come down to 4 stitches per inch because that'll give me a good steady baste around the edge. And you can see right here, my stitches don't look very pretty, and it's because they're so wide. So I'm going to bump back up. I like to sit right about 11 stitches per inch because it gives you a really good, pretty look. And so the other trick, as I'm doing this free motion pebbles, you're going to do a circle and then come around halfway through the circle again before you move to the next circle. Sometimes pebbles can look kind of intimidating. And I hope this blue thread shows up really nice. I picked blue because it kind of matched this cute bird that we've got here. And I'm going to show you, we'll probably do some pebbles down low, but I don't want to do pebbles all over because birds don't fly in pebbles. They might land in pebbles, but they don't fly in pebbles. So my thread just broke, so I'm going to fix this for you. And it's kind of hard to see because of where we're filming, but the thread comes through on the other side of the machine. Whenever my thread breaks, I always try to make sure it's seated in my tension discs. So I'm just going through my thread guides here and getting everything set up again. Perfect. And I'm going to pull my fingers in and kind of separate the thread discs and pull my thread through to make sure it's flossed in the discs correctly. Oh, there's my problem. When I threaded it before we started, I didn't go through the tension spring. So this is something to kind of keep in mind anytime that you're doing your quilting. If it's been a minute since you've touched the machine, always just kind of check your settings, check your thread path, because I didn't double check it. I thought we were good to go. And I missed my tension spring. Oh, that feels so much better. Isn't it funny how when you've been doing this for a while, you can kind of feel, I've heard some people say they can tell when their machine, the bobbin is running out, they can just hear the difference. That's kind of a similar thing. I'm used to pulling the thread when I'm threading the machine, and I can feel that it's seated in the tension discs better where it's supposed to be. So once we get this threaded again, we're going to pull up our bobbin thread. And I do have someone watching the comments. I keep forgetting to tell you guys. I do have someone watching comments. So if you wanted to ask a question, I'm happy to answer anything as we're going here. There we go. Perfect. Now, I know these time slots move kind of quickly, and so I'll do a little bit more pebbling, but then we're going to come and do some stitching in the ditch around the bird, because I want to show you how we can actually attach the back side of the pillowcase directly on the long arm. That's one of my very favorite things. So I'll do a little bit more pebbling. I'll probably start right here in the middle and work my way this way so that I can come to the tail of the bird and start stitching it in the ditch around the bird. So I have my machine where I'm going to start. I hold the top thread with my hand. I drop the needle down, lift the needle up and swing away. And that's how I get at my bobbin thread. Just that simple. And that's the easiest way for us to start a project or to start stitching, so that you have your bobbin thread on the right side of the quilt. Okay, just doing some pebbles. Circles can be a little bit intimidating too, and so that's one thing that I tell people to just practice. If you have a pad of paper and a pen with you as you're sitting waiting at appointments, it's a really good way to practice, so you can do some pebbling while you're waiting at the doctor. Waiting at the dentist, wherever it is you're waiting. Okay, so I've come here to the bird. You can see my cute little pebbles here. So I've come to the corner of the tail of the bird, and I've left my needle down. And I'm actually going to bring my quilt project forward just a little bit so that the bird itself will fit in my throat space. So I'll come around to the side of the machine. I'll lift this ratchet for the back and just pull it forward just a smidge. And you can see the machine moving. That's because I left the needle down in the project. This is something that I do very carefully. I only leave the needle down when I'm confident that I'm not moving the machine too quickly or anything, because we don't want to tear a hole in the project. But it's still a great way to kind of keep track of where you are. So there's a couple ways that I can do this. I'm going to show you some free motion quilting around first, just kind of doing it one way. But then I can also show you, we have ProStitcher that can do some straight line stitching for us as well. So I'm just going to do probably moving up to the left. Now, for me personally, my problem, I have a really hard time doing diagonal lines here. So that's something I need to keep practicing myself. I definitely pull out a ruler and do ruler work when I'm moving that way. And this machine actually does have a ruler base. I checked with SMP. They do have a few of the ruler bases available for this machine. So if you're considering it, you should probably talk with them about it, give them a call, because these machines, I'm not kidding, this really is my very favorite machine. Okay, I have a choice here. As I'm free motion quilting, I like to stop and think about the path that I'm stitching out. I have a choice that I can come around the wing and continue on the outside, or I can use this as an opportunity to come stitch on the inside of the bird. So I think I'm going to come in this way, or maybe this is what we're going to do. We're going to come, so the thing to consider is where you're going to stitch twice, right? So I'm going to come around the wing, move up here, and then I come around the wing again to finish the tail. This will be nice to stitch twice here because it'll add extra dimension to the outside of the wing. Come down here, come up here. And also, I know sometimes when people get long arms, they're a little intimidated to start trying new things. And that's another great reason to use your orphan blocks. You can just put some orphan blocks down on some scrap backing and some scrap batting, and then just try it out and see how it works. So we'll come finish the tail. Just like this. Perfect. So I like to do a couple of stitches in the spot where I'm ending to kind of tie it off. You can also tie and bury the threads, which is where you would just trim these threads, tie them down, and then thread it through a hand needle and tuck them in between your quilt sandwich. That's a really great way to hide those threads as well when you're stopping and starting in the middle of a quilt instead of starting off on the side. Okay, great. So I'm going to show you just one little thing on ProStitcher. We'll do an outline here in the wing, and then I'm going to show you the envelope fold, how we can do that directly on the long arm. So what I'm going to do on my ProStitcher screen, I'm going to turn my gears back on. So simple push of a button, my gears have engaged again. You can actually hear them turn back on. And I'm going to be moving pretty quickly on this, but there are a ton of tutorials on YouTube. You can check them out through ProStitcher, through Handi Quilter, and I'm sure SMP has a lot of education materials on this as well. So I'm just going to create an area on the inside of the wing. And I'm going to be using something called multi-point, and that's where I can move my machine. I'm using my needle to select the area that I want to highlight, and I'm using the multi-point to select that. So you'll hear a couple of dings as I'm doing this. Every time I move my machine, I put my needle where I want it to be. I hit the multi-point. Good. And then I'm going to come down here for this. And it looks like, yep, perfect. So I'm not sure if you can see it on the screen, but I have an odd shape here, a little bit diamond shape. And that's what I'm going to be using to put a cute little design here. Before we can tell it to quilt though, I'm going to double check and set up my quilt space as well. The quilt space, this is my frame space. And this is just telling my machine where it can quilt. It's essentially kind of like when you have a hoop on an embroidery machine. Sometimes you have to tell the machine what hoop size it is, or the machine can check itself to tell you what hoop size it's using. That's a similar concept, that you're essentially saying what size you're going to be quilting in. So that's why we set up our frame space. So I have my frame space now, and I have my cute little bird wing here. I'm going to pull up a design, and I'm just going to put a design here in the area and just have it quilted out for me really fast. Oh, and there's even a cute little bird on here with a bird fill. When you get ProStitcher, it actually comes preloaded with a bunch of different designs. And so you're able to start playing right away as soon as you get ProStitcher. I have some cute lines here on my fabric. I might just do a little bit of cross hatching. That might be kind of cute to go with it. But it might also get lost in it. So maybe we should do some swirls. We're going to do a spiral. Here we go. So I've picked this spiral, and it's a lot bigger. I'm not sure if you can see it on the screen. The spiral is a lot bigger than my area, so I'm able to actually resize this design and shrink it down a little bit. Let me move it here so it's kind of centered where I want it. I don't want to resize it too much because it's already fitting pretty well, but we'll do just a little bit. And I'll pop this over here. Perfect. Now I've got it right where I want it. So I'm going to crop my design so that it won't stitch outside of the area. Got that all cropped and good to go. I'm going to hit baseline. That's kind of the design, the button that says, yes, I've made all the changes, make them final. And then we're going to let this stitch out. Perfect. And it pauses so that you can get your bobbin thread up. Again, so we don't have a lot of bobbin tied down underneath. And then I can just hit resume. And I like to wait for it to stitch and move away enough from the tails that I'm holding before I snip them, because I don't want to be in the way of the machine, right? We always want to do machine safety here. So you're going to see it's going to be doing a lot of back and forth as it's doing the spiral because of how I closed the edges on the area. And that's something that you can play with as well, that the area you're able to have it stitch out the outside of the area or have it skip whatever parts connected to the outside border of the area. So this machine, while it's stitching out, I'll tell you, this machine is one of my favorites because the one that I had, I accidentally dumped it on the floor and it still worked when I finally decided to pick it up and put it back on the frame. So I had been making some adjustments to the frame and I wasn't being careful and the machine toppled off the frame and I was mortified. It's just one of those things that it was just a dumb mistake, right? So it took me a couple days, but when I finally got brave enough, I went and put the machine back on the frame and it worked perfectly. The only thing that was broken was my thread mast. Now, I'm not telling you, do not dump your machines off of their frame. Don't do that. But that is one of the reasons I absolutely love this, because this machine is heavy duty. It does incredible stitches. And after it fell off my frame, I put it back on and the timing wasn't even out. So it's a really incredible machine, very sturdy. It's a good old reliable machine. So I'm swinging away, coming back here to pick up my needle where I finished stitching. I'm going to do the needle down and needle up button and swing away and then snip this thread. And then hopefully you guys can see this cute swirl. Even though I've got like the fabric with all the lines, we did a really cute swirl here too. So let me show you the next part of our project. I'm going to move the frame forward just a little bit. So I'm coming over to the side of the machine. I lift the ratchet stop and just kind of advance it forward just a little so we can work on the top half. And I have these pieces that I'm using for the back of the quilt, or sorry, the back of the pillowcase. So I've already taken it over to just a regular machine and just folded it over and did a simple straight stitch. These are very, very basic. And I didn't measure them exactly to width. I made them slightly larger so that I have a little bit of wiggle room. So I'm going to take this and put it here at the top. And I am lining up my top edges, but I'm going to center it just a little bit so I have a little bit of overhang here on each side. And we have a really cool foot that we can use when we're doing this type of thing that's going to help me keep a nice square edge. And these feet will fit on all of our machines. The feet are interchangeable, so you don't have to get one specific for the Simply Moxie. Just a regular Handi Quilter foot will do this trick. So this is a square foot, and this will give me a nice straight edge. And the cool thing is this is a 1/4 inch seam from the edge of the foot to where the needle drops down. This will give you a 1/4 inch seam. So I'm going to loosen this foot and lift the bar so the foot just drops off just like that. Put that foot here so I don't lose it. And then we'll pop this one on. I like to lift the post. It's a lot easier to get on if you can lift the post. And then I keep my finger kind of underneath the foot a little bit to make sure it's seated all the way up. And then we just screw it back on. Perfect. Do we have any questions coming in? I don't want to be missing them. I think we're doing pretty good. Okay, so I think I'm going to start down here and stitch up and over and down. So we're going to pull up our bobbin thread. Here we go. Needle down, needle up. Perfect. Actually, where I dropped my needle, I need to change just a little because I was acting like I was going to be basting. I need to come in just a little bit. So I'm going to do that again. And I'm going to come back down here. Perfect. I'm lining it up better so that the edge of the foot is on the edge of the project. So needle down, needle up, swing away so I can grab my bobbin thread. And then come back forward. Perfect. And then we'll just do a straight line. The cool thing about this, I have my gears turned on, and so the gears are almost acting like the weight of the gears will help me do a straight line. But you can still manipulate it with or without the gears. So then I'm going to stop and check, and I'm doing really good right here. This looks really pretty for my 1/4 inch seam. However, if it's something I'm worried about, ProStitcher does have a channel lock. So I can go ahead and push the channel lock button, and now I know I'm going to get a straight line all the way back. That does mean, though, if I was not being careful as I stitched my quilt top down, that I didn't do a straight line there, that will be my own problem, right? So we got to the top. Let's check and see. Oh, that's beautiful. I'm a little wonky because I did not use my channel locks when I started. That's okay. We know what's going on, right? So I'm going to come back down here, line it up, and I'm going to switch my channel locks, take off the vertical channel lock, turn on the horizontal channel lock, and it really is this easy that I just hit a button and suddenly my channel lock is on. So I want to make sure I'm like lined up good. Perfect. So I'm going to come to the edge of this here, smidgen over. Perfect. Turn off my horizontal channel lock. Turn on my vertical channel lock. Perfect. Now I am going to advance so that we can put the second half on. So I'm going to turn off my vertical channel lock just so I don't have any channel locks on while I'm moving. I am going to drop my needle down while I advance for this part. I just walk around to the side of the machine and lift the ratchet and then pull it forward again. And we do have some hand wheels that you can actually purchase as an add-on for this. Oh, I'm going too far. Sorry, you guys. We do have hand wheels that you can purchase that make it easier to move these poles back and forth. Okay. We're so close, you guys. I'm going to pop this back up here so it's out of the way. We're going to put this bottom part on. And I'm doing the right sides together. It might feel kind of funny to do this on a frame, to do it on a quilt, right? But we're going to be able to pop it off and have the quilt ready to go, or the pillowcase ready to go. So let me turn my channel lock back on. Come straight down to the end. Perfect. And I'm just kind of watching. I'm lifting the fabric to see where I want to stop. So because again, my back pieces are a little bit bigger than the front. So turn on my horizontal channel lock. Awesome. And I'm going to try and match up the seam that I did right here. Okay, it's not going to be perfect because of user error, and that's me. But we're going to turn our vertical channel lock again, turn it back on. Coming up to the top. Oh, I did really good. I'm really close. That's beautiful. I just went over it a few times, so it's nice and secure. Turn off my channel lock. And there we go. And it looks really funny right now, but let me show you. I love this part too, that I literally just cut this directly off of the frame. Some people freak out when you do this, but the project's done. Let's just cut it off. You will have to unload the pins and stuff at some point, but I'm just going to trim this off and then we can show you what it looks like. I do have to say, being surprised by the price, because this machine is absolutely incredible. And when I heard the price that SMP was offering for you guys, I was shocked and I was ready to go out and buy one for myself. The problem is my husband is out of town and I was like, he might not be happy if he came home and I suddenly had another long arm. But the price is incredible, and they're including it with the little foot frame, and that one is the 5-foot frame that it's got a hooping system so that you can do any size quilt on the little foot frame, and you don't you just have to have it's like a 6-foot footprint in your area. So I'm turning it right side out, and we got ourselves a cute little pillow cover. There we go. My corners don't want to go in, but we've got a bird pillow cover.
Great. All right, that was Shauna's presentation. So I hope everybody enjoyed that. Little repeat from Quilt Fest. She is so good, such a good quilter, Roger, and just really always enjoyed working with Shauna. But let me tell you a little bit about the Simply. So now if y'all got any questions about the Simply 16, go ahead and put it in the chat right now. Roger's going to keep a look at it. But we've got a bunch of packages put together. So the one that you're looking at right now is with that 5-foot frame. It's the little foot frame. Now look at the frame. Just because it's 5 foot doesn't mean it's not a really high-end nice frame. This is an extremely well-built, nice frame, but they've scaled it down to 5 feet. So if you're having trouble with the room, I mean, that's the biggest thing I always hear, you know, when we're at quilt shows and things, you know, people say, man, I would love to have that, but I just don't have the room. Well, now 5 feet doesn't take up much room. And I tell you what you can do. Even if you don't want it, if you put it on casters, it raises the whole frame up. But what you can do is put it on sliders, furniture sliders, and you can just slide it away from the corner of the room into the middle of the room when you want to use it, and then just slide it back. That's a really good idea. It makes it really easy. And the 16, you got that 16-inch throat space. I'm telling you, you can do on that right there. You can do a king size quilt, no problem. You just have to advance your quilt, move it. But it does a great job. Again, look at the price on this. It's $39.99. You're getting that. Now, here's the thing. We've got some special financing just for this machine too, as well. Now, let me go over the financing with you, just so y'all know kind of what's available. But we do have that available. So, well, I can't find it. Anyway, we have 12 months, 0% interest on it. We have 18 months, 0% interest on it. So we have, and I think we have 36 months, 0% interest. So we have some very good financing available. So what y'all need to do, if you're interested, give them a call, 800-401-8151 today for the packages I'm going to show you. Now, the next one is with the loft frame. Now, this is an 8-foot frame. Basically, the frame is built identical. It's just a bigger version of the 5-foot. So it's an 8-foot frame. It's $44.99. So you're going to go up only $500 to get an 8-foot frame. And again, if you've got the room, this is the way to go. So because what happens, you don't have to advance the quilt as often on an 8-foot frame, and makes it a little faster. Yeah. That's it. It's the only difference. You can still do the exact same thing. $44.99, financing available. We have the 12-month, 0%, 18-month, and we have 36-month. And so we have some different financings available for you on that. I think it's 24 months. I'll verify what we have here in just a second. I got to find it again. Yeah. But,
just call, and they'll be able to
yeah, they're going to be able to tell you if you just call on those two. And then the next package, before we go to the next one, this is with ProStitcher Lite. Now, that's what she had on it in the video. She had ProStitcher Lite on it, but she wasn't using it. And again, under $10,000, you're going to be able to get an 8-foot loft frame, the Simply 16, and ProStitcher Lite to go on this, all for under $10,000. Financing available. What a great package. All right, now we're going to save the other 3 packages, Roger, until Aubrey gets on, because Aubrey, we have 3 more packages that are with the Butler robotic system, and Aubrey's going to talk a little bit about that. So did anybody have any questions, Roger, in there for the Simply as of right now?
Let's see. Nothing as
okay.
Yet.
So anyway, if y'all do come up with a question, put it in after Aubrey's presentation, and we can talk a little bit about that. But y'all give a big SMP welcome to Aubrey Hartman. Hey, Aubrey.
Well, hey, Blaine. Hey, SMP Nation.
It's been a while. I hadn't seen you since Quilt Fest.
I know. We always miss each other during the summer, so it is great to be here today doing this program.
Well, thank you for coming in. I tell you, now I'm excited about this package. I really am. And I know you've got an 18-inch right in front of you right now,
Yes,
King Quilter. But the great thing about this, the Butlers work on just about any quilting machine that's been made. And
they
it
sure
works
do.
great on that Simply, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It doesn't matter what you've got at home or if you're buying a brand new long arm today, you can get a Butler Robotics system for your long arm so you can have automation.
Yeah. And one of the things I wanted to just kind of reiterate to everybody too, or talk about is, just like today, if they decide they want to buy a, the Simply 16 with a little foot frame, later on, if they want to upgrade the frame, if they want to add robotics, they can always add robotics to any system at a later date. So they don't have to be like, buy it all at one time. They can do it in stages. But that's the great thing about the machines that we're showing and the robotics we're showing. It's very versatile. I'm going to let you get going.
Absolutely.
I know you've got a lot to talk about, Aubrey, and I'll see y'all back when she gets finished up, and I'm going to tell y'all all about the different packages we have with the Butler on it, and then we'll reiterate some of the other ones, and I'll have that financing exactly for you too.
Sounds great. Thanks, Blaine. Well, hello, everybody, and all my quilting friends out there. It is so great to be here today to talk to you about our Butler Robotics. So, as Blaine said, we've got some packages coming up at the end of this for all three of our Butler Robotics systems that you can get with the packages that he's got for the Simply 16. But if you've got a long arm at home, don't worry. You can also just get a Butler robotic system. So I want to tell you about our three different systems, and then we're going to get to quilting together. So we have a basic model, which comes with our 8-inch display screen, 160 patterns already loaded and ready to go for you, and everything you need to do edge-to-edge quilting and custom block quilting. So lots of fun stuff to get you started in automated quilting. If you want a little bit more than that, you can move up to the deluxe model that comes with a 10-inch display screen, 260 preloaded patterns, and a whole lot more features so that you can work with your edge-to-edge quilting and custom, but you get a lot more to work with, so you can really let that creativity flow. You've got built-in channel locks, you've got cropping features, things like point to point, and you have a record feature where you can even record your free motion quilting and save it as a pattern. So all you creatives out there, that is a great feature to have. And then if you're like me, you can move up to your professional model. This comes with a 12-inch display screen, 500 patterns preloaded and ready to go, and every feature that we offer. And I really love having this model. And I have an 8-inch display screen that I want to hold up for you guys against this 12-inch display screen so you can kind of see the difference. For me, it's important to have the 12-inch display because I wear glasses all the time. I do a lot of custom design work with my quilt tops, and I really love having the biggest display possible. So here I have our 8-inch, and this is the one that comes with the basic model. And you can see when I hold it up against the 12, there is a big difference here. So if you want your 8-inch display screen, you have all the features of this touch screen here. It's wonderful and I love it. But if you need a little bit more vision, if you like to have all the spoiler features, the 12-inch, you just can't go wrong. So I wanted to make sure, because sometimes it's really hard to see the difference between the two. And I was like, hey, I have this extra 8. Let me show everybody. So I wanted you to see that. The other thing I wanted to show, give me 1 second so I can hold this up here, is this little guy here. And this is our AVR, or automatic voltage regulator. And this comes with your purchase of your Butler Robotics system from Sewing Machines Plus. And you might think, well, that's a big, weird black box, and what does it do? as an automatic voltage regulator, this is your surge protector that is going to protect the electronics of your brand new Butler Robotics system. When you have everything plugged into here, whether there is a brownout in your area, a bad storm, or something just happens, should your power go out or you have a power surge, this will protect your electronics of your Butler robotic system and your sewing machine plugged into it. So this comes as part of your purchase. And let me tell you, this has saved me quite a few times. About a month ago, I had a big quilt set up on my frame. I was doing just an edge-to-edge design. It was very dense. And I was like, oh, I can just let this stitch out. No big deal. It's going to take a while. So I took the dog outside, and as we were walking, I heard these crackly popping noises and a big explosion. And the transformer that was up the street from where I live exploded, and the power went out in the area. That caused a big power surge, and then all of the power in the area where I live to go out. When I walked back into my home, because my long arm was plugged into this, it was still running, because on one side, not only is it a surge protector, but it's also a battery backup that has up to 3 hours of lifetime if it's fully charged. So not only were my electronics for my robotics and machine protected, but it continued to run because it was battery backed up. So I did not lose my pattern. I did not lose where I was stitching on my quilt top. It continued to run and finished out that row so that I could properly save everything while the power had gone out. So this is a little lifesaver here that protects you guys with your purchase, because we all know it's a big investment when you're buying a long arm machine, when you're buying your robotic system, and you want to keep everything protected. So we try to take care of you with this. So make sure you know when you buy your robotic system, you get this too. All right, I want to show you guys. Oh, we have a question, Lindsay.
Real quick on the AVR, can they buy that just separately?
The question, everybody, is can you buy an AVR separately? And the answer is yes. Y'all contact Blaine's team and they will take care of you. I want to turn you guys down to the quilt top I have here so you can see what it looks like, and let's get quilting together. I'll let you see what it is first. Unlock me, camera. I have a camera that follows me around, you guys. All right, here is our little quilt top. So I've got kind of a big border up here, a skinny little border here, and lots of little squares here that I've been working on all morning, and we are going to continue to do this together. I love that we get to quilt together with each other. The first thing I want to do is fill in one of these little polka dot squares here, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. Now just bring the camera in a little bit so I can get both the screen of my display and my quilt top in here, kind of back and forth without making you guys too dizzy. All right, so when we start, I hope you can see this if I get my camera close enough. I've got a big orange rectangle here on my display, and that is my safe area that I set for where I want to quilt within. But the next thing I need to do is set my little polka dot block. So I'm here in layout, and I'm going to add to my layout by touching my plus sign on the right side of my display. And I get instructions across the bottom of my display. And the first instruction says the first point in your pattern box. So I'm going to move my machine over to where my polka dot block is on my quilt top. And I'm just going to angle you guys down a little bit and see if we can get both things in view at the same time. I'm not a camera person, y'all, so I'm going to do my best. Let's see what we got here. Okay, I think you guys can see my display and my little quilt block. Okay, so I'm going to start at the top left corner of my quilt block here and line up my needle with that corner. And I'm going to press the plus sign at the bottom corner of my display. And then I'm going to go around the other corners of my quilt block. So I'll go to my bottom left corner and press the plus sign again. I'll move over to the bottom right corner and press my plus sign again. And then when I get to the top right corner, I actually have a check mark, and I'm going to press that because I'm going to tell it that I've completed the object that I would like to create my space for. And when I do that, I've got a very large square on my display now. And with this square, we have to give it a pattern. We're just going to move up the left-hand side of our display. Above layout is a pattern file folder where we have all of the wonderful patterns that come preloaded with our robotics system right here, ready to go. Now, I already picked out a particular pattern that I want to use, so I don't have to go scrolling through with my finger to find it. I'm actually going to open a search bar here. So if you know what you're looking for, or if you're looking for a particular type of pattern or one that just has feathers in it, you could type that. But the pattern I'm looking for is called Simple Crossroads. So I'm going to type in Simple Cross and hit the check mark here. And my little pattern thumbnail pops up here. I'm going to touch it so it turns orange and highlights. And then I've got a green check mark over on the right-hand side to accept it. And when I do that, I get a very large version of this particular pattern, but I need to make it fit into my smaller layout box. So we've got some work to do. When we added our pattern into our layout space, it automatically jumped up the left-hand side of our screen from patterns into edit. Your Butler Robotics system assumes that when you add a pattern, you're going to want to work with it a little bit. So we've got a large pattern and we need to make it a little bit smaller. And in edit, we have a scale feature over here on the right-hand side. It looks like a little square and it's got arrows coming out the corner. If we highlight that, we're taken to a different screen with lots of different options for us. So we can use our slider bars to change the size. We have plus and minuses to change the size. We actually have a button where we could type in the size of the design we want. Maybe we're working with 5-inch blocks, so we could type in 5 by 5. Or because we have the professional here, and this is also included on your deluxe model, we have an auto scale button. And this little button looks like it has a graduation cap on it. And if we touch that button, it's automatically going to take our design and scale it to the size of our square for us. So it takes all the hard work out of getting things to the proper size. You just touch one button and there you go. So I love having my spoiler features on the mid-level and top of the line, that deluxe and professional model. So it was that easy to set a block and to add a pattern, to edit it, and now we're ready to stitch it out. So we're going to go up to our home that's here. Once again, we went from layout to pattern to edit, and now we go into home. So we just worked ourselves up the left-hand side of our display. And when we touch home, we're in a brand new screen again, and we're ready to stitch out. Now for stitching out, you have to make sure that your needle over here is highlighted. If it's not highlighted, it's just going to trace around the design, which is very helpful sometimes. You might be cutting it really close with your block layout, and you want to trace around the design to make sure all of the stitches are going to kind of stay in your quilt area. But we want to stitch this out. So our needle is highlighted. I'm going to touch the little green button at the very top. I don't know if you guys can see that. It might be cut out. Let's see. There's the green button. There's the green button at the top. I call it a green skittle because it looks like a green skittle. And we start to get our instructions at this point. So our Butler Robotics system is going to tell us what we need to do from this point on. So our first instruction says the machine's going to move to the start of the pattern block, and then our pattern's going to start, and we need to verify that our needle's in the up position. Always double check that your needle is up and out of the fabric. You never want to tear your fabric, and your robotic system's going to start taking over the movement of your machine on its carriage, so it doesn't know where the needle is. I'm going to hit my green check mark here, and it's going to think for a second and then move into place over top of our polka dot block. Now, when it's in place, it's going to start giving me more instructions. And the first instruction that's on the screen here says, do a single stitch with your machine. So on my left handlebar, I have a needle up down button. Yours might be in a different location. But to do a single stitch, I'm going to hold my needle up down button, and it's going to do my single stitch. I'll hit the check mark on my display, and my information switches to a different, and it says pull up the bobbin thread. So I can just wiggle my machine out of place so I have a little room to grab that bobbin thread. And now I've got my top thread and my bobbin thread. I can touch my green check mark in the middle. My robotic system is going to recenter over that starting point, and my new instructions tell me to cycle my needle to lock the stitches. Now, I'm a cycler, so I like to cycle 3 times. But if you are someone who likes to bury your threads, or if you're someone who isn't worried about locking 3 times and you only want to lock 1 time, you can do your choice. You can skip locking, or you can lock however many times you like. I'm just a 3 locker. So I cycle my needle 3 times to lock, and I'll touch my check mark on the display. And my last set of instructions before stitching is actually 2 steps. So it says to turn the stitching on your long arm, and then your machine's going to start moving after you press OK. And OK is the green check mark in the middle of the display. You have to turn your stitching on first, and that's on my right handlebar. So I'm going to turn my stitching on, and then I'll touch the green button in the center, and off my stitching goes. And I picked some patterns that don't take super long to stitch out so that we can go through a couple of exercises together today so you can really see the capabilities of automation. And then when we're finished, I'll let you see all the designs that we stitched out. I just don't want to make y'all sick by taking the camera on and off and on and off and out. Okay, so that one's stitched out. It says turn the stitching off of your long arm. So turn that off, and I'll hit my check mark. It says cycle your needle to lock your stitches. So you do what you're comfortable with and hit the check mark. And then I can bring my bobbin thread back up to the surface. And I just broke my thread, so now I gotta rethread that real quick, and hopefully my eyes can do that really well. There we go. Oh, I did good today. I don't know about you, but sometimes I need a lot of extra light to thread my needles on my machines. I have good days with it, and I have bad days with it. But I think today's a good day with needle threading. All right, so we've got that clipped, and I'm just going to make sure it's clipped on the underside. There we go. Okay, so that's our first block. Let's go ahead and do another one. The next one I want to do is going to be the little purple square next to it. Let's see if you guys can see that. So this little purple square next to the one we just finished. So we'll go ahead and do that. We're going to kind of do the same method. So I'm going to start again. And this is really easy. You can continue to create layout box after layout box. So, oh, my camera just swiveled. Let's get you on here a little bit tighter. There we go. So on my display, since we're in home, which is all the way here at the top, the camera's drifting, y'all. I'm sorry. There we go. Since we're in home all the way up here at the top and we want to create a new layout box, we have to come back down to layout. So I'm going to touch that and highlight it. And you can see our last layout box here, which is the design we just did. And all we have to do to create it, when we press that, it says set the first point in your pattern box. So we're just going to repeat our process again. I'm going to bring my machine over to my purple polka dot box. I'm going to see if I can get everything in screen again for you guys. I'm going to start at the top left again. I've got my plus sign here on the screen that I will touch at my top left corner. Move my machine to my bottom left corner. Move my machine to my bottom right corner. And then move my machine to the top right corner. And this is where I hit my check mark. And now I've created another large layout box here on my display. We'll move up to patterns again, same like we did before. And this time you can see my last pattern that I added. I want to go back by hitting filter so I can see all of my patterns again. But of course, I already picked out what I want. So I'm going to open my search bar and type in the word circle. And the next word is pointed. And I'll hit my check mark. Oh, and it didn't come up. Maybe I spelled something wrong. Let's see. There it is. Here's the design I want. So I'm going to highlight it with my finger and hit the check mark to add it in. And this design is almost the right size to fit in our box. I just need to do a little bit of work with it. Now, I don't know if you heard me say this earlier, if the words even came out of my mouth, because I always assume they do. But this is a full touch screen, so you don't have to just use the buttons. You can touch on the item that you want to work with, and you get nodes going around the design. The blue nodes that are in the corners and on the sides are your scale nodes. You have a red node on the bottom right corner, that's your rotate node, and the green node in the center is your move node. So you can use your touch screen to do your editing modifications instead of using the buttons. So I'm just going to use my little blue node down here on the bottom and just stretch my design a little bit to fill in the empty space there because it fits almost perfect. I'm a little over on the left-hand side, so I'm going to use the blue node here and just squish it in a little tiny bit. I've got a little bit that I need to come in on the top, and my right side looks okay. I want to make sure I have this centered though. So I'm going to open my move feature, which is over here in my editing screen. It looks like a square with a crossbars in the middle. And when I open that, I actually have buttons that will center my design within my layout box. I have a vertical and a horizontal centering buttons. So when I touch these both, it's going to center my design within my space. And now I know that my design, even though I wiggled it a little bit, is centered within my block. And I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to touch my home button, make sure my needle's engaged, and we're going to touch our green go button or our skittle up top and hit our green check mark. So it gets to be a quick and easy process once you get going and really know the steps. And that's what I love about this. It's so easy to learn and use the Butler Robotics system. There's not a lot of tabs that you have to open or things that you have to change. It's very touch, and you're done. And that's so wonderful. I'm not a super techie person. I never have been. And this was such an easy system for me to learn. And I think it's going to be an easy system for all of you to learn. So I'm just going through my prompts here. I've already done a single stitch, and now I'm pulling up my bobbin threads. It's going to center back into place. I'll cycle my needle. I'll hit my check mark. I'll turn my stitching on and touch the check mark on display, and our new design is stitching out. And when we're in that stitch mode, it really is the same series over and over again. It will tell you to do the same thing. You will always do your single stitch. You'll pull up your bobbin thread. You'll cycle your needle so that you can have your tie-offs, and then you'll get started. So once you have that down, getting these patterns stitched out, it's going to be like clockwork for you. And this one's just about done. One more leaf on the pattern. And we're done. We're going to turn our stitching off, cycle our needle, and then I can pull my bobbin thread up. Now we're not going to do a normal set and go for another block. I'm going to use a different feature that we've got so that I can put this same design in another purple polka dot block. It's called a modify feature. So I can take this design from this block and modify its location to be in a different spot. How we do that is simply by going back into our layout feature. And over here on the right side, there's a little icon that looks like a crescent wrench. If you touch on the wrench, it's going to tell you to set the first point in your pattern box, just like we would if we're adding a new pattern box. But what this is going to do is take the location that we put in and move the design into it. So we don't have to change the size of the design or the orientation of the design. It's just going to take those new points that we set and take the design with it. So I'm going to show you. So the block we just stitched out is right here, but I'm going to move it to here. So I'm going to set those corner points for this block now. I hit my plus sign at that top left corner of this block, the bottom left corner of this block, the bottom right corner of this block, and the top right corner of this block. I'll hit my check mark. And when I did that, you can see on the display that it automatically moved that pattern over in the size I had it right into that block that we just created. So you can modify the location, and that's so helpful when you're doing a quilt like this where you're using the same design across the quilt top. You can use one design, size it the way you want it, and just kind of skip it around. Now, I do need to center this a little, but that's okay. We just need to move up to our editing feature, and I can center it from here. So I'll hit my move button and I'll hit my two centering buttons and get my design centered in this particular block. Easy peasy. And from here, we're set and ready to go. I can hit my home button and stitch it right out. So I've got my needle engaged, we hit our green skittle, and off we go. So you can see how quick and easy it is to fill in lots of little squares like I have when you've got your modify button, and you can just keep changing the location of your quilt block and it takes the design with you. And I just love that. I've used this so many times because I tend to do a lot of custom quilting, like I've said, and this feature is great for that custom quilting work. So I'm just going through the prompts. I've pulled up my bobbin thread. I'm cycling my needle, turning my stitching on, and off we go. So it really doesn't take a lot of time to do custom work when you've got these great features built into your system. It'll take you a second to learn how to use it, but gosh, is it really helpful. So this is going to take a quick second to stitch out, and then we will have done 2 blocks in just a couple of minutes. Now the next thing we're going to do is something called point to point. And this is a really customizable feature where you can take a design and lay it out how you want. So it's being a little bit more creative. All right. I'm going to have this quilt done in no time, thanks to you guys. All right, I'm going to go back into layout. And when I go into layout, I'm going to use my buttons down here. Right now, I don't know if you can see that really well. Let's see if I can get a closer view for you guys. Right now, it says 3 of 3 because this is one of the blocks we've created. If I go back, it says 2 of 3 because that's another block that we've done today. And if I go back, this is 1 of 3, and this is my safe area that represents my whole quilt top and my backing. And this is just kind of a blank slate for me to look at. I'm going to jump from layout this time. I'm not going to set any spaces or squares or layout areas. I'm not going to add a pattern yet. I'm going to go right into edit. And when I'm in edit, we have a really fun feature down here that looks like 2 little teardrops that are upside down. And that is our point-to-point feature. They're little points. Now I'm going to highlight that, and it's going to give me a few things down on the bottom to work with. And I'm going to take a pattern and use this feature to add the pattern into one of these blocks to kind of create a whole new look. Now this little file folder over here should look familiar. It looks just like my pattern file up here. When I open that up, I've got my pattern files that we've been seeing this whole time. What I'm going to do is choose a pattern that uses the point-to-point feature. And of course, you guys, I've already picked something out, so I was prepared for you. And it's just a little point-to-point feature. And it looks like, gosh, I don't know. It's just a little teardrop looking thing. I've got bugs on this quilt in one of the fabrics, and I just thought that it kind of mimicked the backing of one of the beetles that's on this fabric. I know I'm a little goofy. It just kind of goes. Now I'm going to use this with my point-to-point feature to create a new look in one of the blocks. Now at this present moment in time, this little design is at a height of 1.5 inches tall. Now my blocks here are only 3.5 inches high, so we're going to change the height of this just a little bit. So I'm going to open this up and I'm going to just shrink it down a little bit. I'm going to make it 1.25 inches tall, just so it's a little bit smaller. Now we're going to start adding points, which are going to be the corners of my blocks with this plus sign that you see here. We're going to go around the square. So I'm going to do this on the gray square that we've got here on our quilt. Let's see if I can get us all in one frame. All right. Oops. Sorry, guys. I'm not trying to make y'all sick. We're going to look at this gray square here. I'm going to start at the top right corner this time. And at the top right corner, I'm going to hit my plus sign. I'm then going to move over to the top left corner. And I'll hit the plus sign. And when I do, my little design that was up in that very top corner of this big box has moved into place. I'm then going to come down to my bottom left corner and hit my plus sign. And now I've got another little design in place. And I promise I'll show you what it looks like. I'm going to go over to that bottom right corner and hit my plus sign. And now I'm going to go to my top right corner and hit my plus sign. And when I do that, I have now created a little teeny tiny design. Let's see if I can get you guys close enough so you can see it. A little teeny tiny design using one design. It made it into a design with 4 pieces. And that's just with me hitting the corners. This is really cool to use in borders and sashings so that you can fill in down very long rows of space, but it's also a lot of fun to create something new inside your quilt blocks. I love using this in triangles, but it's a lot of fun in little squares to create new designs. From here, since we've created this, we can go to home and stitch it out. I'm going to just bring this a little bit closer to our blocks so the machine doesn't have to quite travel as far. I'm going to start with my green skittle. It's going to start in that top right corner because that's where our first design started. We'll do our single stitch. We'll pull up our bobbin thread We'll cycle our needle. And we'll turn our stitching on and let it go. And it's going to do all of those designs in a consecutive chain. So it's finished the one on the top of the square. We're now coming down our left side. We've hit that bottom left corner. Now we're coming across the bottom of our square. And now we are going back up the right side. I just love this feature because you can do so many creative things with it. And we're finished already. I'm going to turn that off, cycle that, and we are done. So you can truly get unique custom looks when you use a feature like that because it's not a built-in design. You've just created one. I'm going to take you guys down so you can see what we're looking at and get a better view of everything we've quilted out together. All right. So let's see where my lighting is best. Okay, so here on the polka dots, this was our first design. And then on the purple polka dots, this was our second design that we used our modify feature for. So you can see those. I've got a couple out here. Here's the one we just stitched out. I've got one from earlier today and one that we just did. So we've got the 4 little designs that we used our point to point and placed them and created kind of a fun little surround on our square. Let's see, this was the one, this is the one we actually did together in our polka dots. I've got one down here in our purple polka dots. So we did really well. We got a lot of ground covered in a very short amount of time. I know I've got a lot more squares to do, but I just wanted you guys to see truly, how easy it is to get little squares set up on your quilt to do custom quilting and use some of the features that Butler Robotics has to offer. You can put Butler Robotics on any long arm machine, no matter how old it is, whether you've had your machine 2 years or 20 years, you can get your Butler Robotics system. And with the deal that Blaine has going on right now for the SMP Nation, if you don't have a long arm, today is definitely the day to get one in your home and get robotics with it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. And happy stitching, everybody.
Well, hey, Aubrey, great job as usual, man.
Thank you.
It makes it seem so easy, but I know it is real easy because I can do it.
Yes. Well, the Butler Robotics system is so easy. It's very user friendly and so much fun.
Yeah, and that's the thing. John Hawks there. John, one time we were at I think we're at Houston Quilt Show, and I had never even touched the Butler, and he gave me about a little 5-minute tutorial, and man, I was up doing demonstrations on it in no time. And then if you'll remember this year at Road to California, it had been quite a while since I had done the Butler Robotics again, and you kind of came over and gave me a little quick tutorial and got me going again. So it's one of those things that,
right up.
Yeah, it doesn't take long at all to get on it, and especially if you're a quilter and you do this every day, I mean, it is going to be so fast. And the learning curve is so easy. So I highly recommend anybody, if they're not ready for robotics now, they can always add it to their machine. And, that's something to me, I just think it's a game changer because it just does such a good job on the quilts.
Yes, it's wonderful. And it's anytime you're ready, you can put it on your machine.
That's right. Well, Aubrey, I know you are a busy person. We're going to let you get out of here today. Thank you so much for spending so much time today explaining it. Wonderful job as usual. And we're going to tell everybody how they can get these butlers to put on. And we'll see you again real soon, okay?
Thanks, Blaine. It was good to be here.
All right. Talk to you later. All right, everybody, we're going to show you the packages again. I'm going to start with frame. We're going to remind you of that. And I looked at my notes and saw that financing. So we have financing on all 6 packages. We have 12 months, 0% interest available. We have 18 months, 0% interest available. And we have 24 months, 0% interest available. So 12, 18, or 24 months, 0% on all 6 packages. Now, this is the first package. You can get the little foot frame on the Simply 16 for $39.99. A great, great price. And y'all know, if you've actually been shopping at all for quilting machines, you know this is an incredible price. And what I love about this, you're getting that very sturdy frame.
Oh, yeah.
I can't stress enough how great a frame this is. It's not a little flimsy 5 foot. This is a regular frame.
In person, it's very impressive.
Yes.
The build quality on this.
Really is. It's just like all the Handi Quilter frames, but it's just a small version of it. 5 foot, Simply 16 again. I call these things bulletproof. I mean, it's just like a huge, giant, straight stitch machine. In maintenance, all you have to do on it, Roger, is just put a little oil on it.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, I tell everybody just, keep the lint and things out of the bobbin case, and then give it a little oil on that and on the hook. And I tell you, this thing will run for years and years, maintenance free. All right, the next package is we added a loft frame. You see the difference. It's just longer. It's an 8 foot frame. Again, the loft, only $500 more to get the loft frame 8 foot with this. And Paula's saying, I've seen these frames. They are sturdy. Paula, you are exactly right. I tell you, I'm so impressed with Handi Quilter's quality of their products. And you know something too, I just want to reiterate this to everybody. I've been to the Handi Quilter factory in Utah, Salt Lake City, and I'm going to tell you what impressed me the most, Roger. When I was there, they gave me the tour of, all their offices, their training rooms, even the warehouse floor and all where they assemble and all that. Every machine that comes off the assembly line, and I'm not saying just a few, every machine goes into a testing area, and they run them, every one of them run nonstop to make sure there's nothing wrong with it. And then they have another guy that comes and he inspects all the machines as far as flaws in the paint and all that. It's incredible what they go through before they get boxed.
But these are great quality.
Oh my gosh. I mean, nothing goes out of their warehouse that hasn't been checked. And that's what impressed me. I was like, oh my gosh, I never knew that until I went there. And the manpower that it takes for them to do that, they have 2-3 people that have to be able to do that to keep the flow of the manufacturing going. So that really blew me away. I was so impressed with that. And again, I mean, I don't know any other manufacturer that does it to that scale. I know they pull machines at random, but they do every machine.
Wow.
So when you're getting a Handi Quilter, guys, y'all know you're getting unbelievable quality. And so I'm so proud to be showing these today, because this is, again, every one of these Simplies, they built these, they're brand new. They went through the quality check as well, and full warranty.
That was my next question.
Yep.
The warranty.
Great price. I mean, you can't beat it. All right, package number 3 is with the ProStitcher Lite. Now, again, getting Robotics under $10,000 on an 8 foot frame and a long arm is incredible. Most of the time, you're going to be spending closer to $20,000 on a quilting machine with Robotics. This one, I mean, that is an incredible price we have today on that. Again, $99.99. All right, next package is the Butler Basic, $88.59.
That's a great price.
Can y'all believe that?
Yeah.
And Roger, not only you get the 8 foot loft frame, you're getting the basic Butler Robotics on the Simply, but we're also throwing in the AVR, and that's that automatic voltage regulator that is also a battery backup. And so if you're right in the middle of a quilt, and like Aubrey said, her electricity went out, you could go in and finish, quilt for a while, or just come to a stopping point until your electricity came back on. But it's got a 3-hour lifetime, battery life.
It saves your machine.
Oh, it saves your machine from any voltage spikes too. So imagine your transformer getting hit by lightning and blowing up like hers. How much voltage spike would have went into the house?
I lost a printer the last lightning storm we had because I didn't have it plugged into something like that.
Yeah. Oh, I believe in these. These things are lifesavers. Again, $88.59. That is an incredible, incredible price. And we're going to offer 12-month financing, 18-month financing, and 24-month financing if you need it, 0% interest. Now, Bernadette's saying, what about the Littlefoot in frame instead? You can most certainly do it. John and them at Butler, they can come up with the brackets to be able to put it on the Littlefoot frame. So if you want the Littlefoot frame, most certainly we can hook you up. All right. Again, let's look at the next one. This is the Butler Deluxe. The basic had the 8-inch screen. The Deluxe has the 10-inch screen. And Aubrey talked a little bit about the differences. It's basically some of the unlocked of the more features and more designs that you're going to get when you keep going up. $10,099. You're getting the Deluxe 10-inch screen. You're getting the Deluxe version with all the unlocked more features in it and designs. You're getting that loft 8-foot frame. You're getting the AVR. You're getting the Simply 16-inch machine. A great package for $10,099. Again, right at that $10,000 mark. And you know what's crazy? If you know, there's not much. I mean, this is just such a good deal.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it really is. Even on the robotics.
I would say this is the most complete system that anybody could get if they're trying to enter. And this is a great value.
Oh, great. Yeah, it's a great. And you know, John's probably got a sore arm right now because I beat him up, twisted his arm to get some good prices from Butler to do this. And Handi Quilter, I beat them up pretty hard on all this too. So just for y'all, I was the bruiser just for the SMP Nation out there. And our last package, the 6th package, is the Simply 16 with the 8-foot loft frame. And you're getting the professional Butler on that. The big 12-inch screen, it sure is, Roger. And you're getting the AVR again with this. All that whole package, look, just $10,739. So all those packages are just incredible. I mean, they really, really are. And Paula Decker's saying this would be wonderful for everyone. It really would. And here's the thing. Here's what I was thinking. As I told y'all earlier, every trade show I go to, people come up to me and go, oh, I would love that. I just don't have the room. Well, now you have the room. Everybody has a 5-foot area in their room that they could probably make. And again, you put the sliders under the frame, you slide it out when you want to use it in the middle room, then slide it back out of the way. That's why we put the Littlefoot with this, that 5-foot frame, to give everybody out there that are limitations on their room, they have the room. And if you do have room, then man, go up to the 8-foot loft frame and full boat. You can do anything on that as well. It just, you know, even on the Littlefoot, you just don't have to advance the quilt as often. And on the loft, I mean, you don't have to advance the quilt as often on the loft as you do the Littlefoot. But I'm telling you, I'm so happy to present this to y'all today on these. And so again, if y'all have any interest, get on that phone and call them. It's 800-401-8151. You know, we got Max and Tori and Kelly and Barbara and Linda all standing by, and they are all experts on this. They know these products extremely well. And, you know, here's the thing. Barbara, Linda, and Kelly are all sewers, and Kelly's a really good quilter. And, you know, Tori is a walking encyclopedia of sewing and is a quilter. Matter of fact, I can tell everybody, Corey bought her mother one of these, a Simply 16, and Corey bought a King quilter. She just bought a King quilter from us. And so she's got her big setup. And then Max has been with the company for so long. He knows these products so well as well. I'm telling y'all call them. They're going to be able to help you out and take your orders and answer any questions you have. But I'm just super excited, Roger, about this today because this is such a good package. And, you know, this is one of those things, even if you've been kind of thinking about it, hopefully this is going to kind of give you that nudge to go, I got to pull the trigger today because this is such a good value. Now, here's the thing. All these packages are going to be in play until we sell out. Okay?
That's a good deal.
Okay, until we sell out, this price and packages we're going to honor. Now, I'm just going to tell you right now, Simply 16s are limited.
Yes.
I don't know how many they're going to be able to make us, but just know that they will go away. And they're telling me this time, once we sell out of these and the castings are gone, they are gone forever. So this is going to be the last opportunity to probably get one of these. But I'm telling you what, I'm super excited about this. I hope y'all are too, because I tell you, this is a great package. And man, I'm excited.
Oh yeah.
It makes you, when you get a good deal, you know, you feel good about getting a good deal. And I love giving them.
A secret, you know, trying to holding on to these. We're like, oh, we're ready to put these out to everybody.
Yeah. And tomorrow we got a great deal on the Juki 4000.
Yes,
so y'all need to make sure y'all tune in tomorrow. Belle Bruner is going to be here taking my place. And so she's going to go over that with y'all. It'll be a great price. Roger's going to be with Belle tomorrow as well. But anyway, thank y'all for joining the show today. We're going to give some stuff away right now. And Tammy says, we love, what'd she say?
She says, we love it too, Blaine.
Oh, I'm glad you love it. I just absolutely love being able to share really good specials with y'all. And you know what, you go out there and you're always working the deals. You're trying to beat these manufacturers up to give us a better price so we can pass those savings on to y'all. And then when it comes through and everybody agrees and they do it, it just makes me feel really good. So this is one of the things I get pumped up about, is being able to offer things like that to you, because, you know, a lot of work goes on the back end that people don't know about. So, all right, we're going to give some stuff away. First thing we're going to do is we're going to give a $25 gift card to Sewing Machines Plus. So, Roger.
Yes, sir.
You got that wheel ready to go?
I've got it. Let's spin it.
Spin that wheel.
Let's get some background.
We need some spinning music, everybody.
Rosemary Blair.
Look at that. Rosemary just won herself a $25 gift card. Rosemary's watching today from YouTube, so congratulations, Rosemary. How do you going to claim that prize? You're going to go to SMPLive.tv, and once you get to that page, Rose, you're going to scroll down all the way down to the bottom where it says claim my prize. Fill out all that information complete, and really make sure you get your email address is correct, because then Kyle, when he gets back, he's going to email you a gift card code, and all you have to do is put it in at checkout, and you save yourself $25 off your purchase. All right, next up, we are going to give away one of our world famous sewing mats. And again, guys, we have these in 13 different colors. We have them in 4 sizes, all but the gold, red, and blue. And now we have a 2XL size to fit those big, new, top-of-the-line machines. And I say this all the time, Roger. If you don't have one of these under your machine right now in your sewing room, you're doing that machine. You sure are. You're doing it a disservice, because these absolutely work. They reduce the vibration that the machine produces to the electronics of that machine. It dampens the sound, and it also protects the surface you have your machine setting on. And then and guess what? It doesn't let it slide around. And there's another I've heard that people actually use to stick their pins in, but I don't recommend that, because I don't like to mess it up, but you can put your pin in there if you need to. But to keep them clean, all you have to do is take a damp cloth and just wipe it down and just let it air dry. And we have them in a ton of different colors, but the blue is absolute match to Brother Blue. The gold is an absolute match to Baby Lock Gold. And the red is a match to Bernina and Janome. And we have a ton of other colors that you can put just what you like, you know. And I have a bunch of those. I have 2 of those American flags.
Those are very popular.
Oh man, those things did so well. I love those things. I have them in my airplane trailer, and I keep my microwave sitting on one so it doesn't slide around when I'm going down the road. All right, so let's give us a winner. Spin that wheel, Roger.
Let's do this. Who's the winner? Squirrel.
So Cheryl is our winner. Watching today from YouTube, Cheryl. So how you're going to claim that prize, go to smplive.tv. When you get to that web page, just scroll down to the very bottom where it says claim my prize, fill out all that information complete, and most importantly, in the little notes section, put what color sew mat you want, what size, and we will get that sent out to you. And if y'all want to go look at the dimensions of these or go purchase one, All you have to do is go to SewingMachinesPlus.com. In the search bar at the top of the page, just put SewMatch. It'll take you right to that product page. You can look at all the dimensions for each size. You can look at all the colors. And I would highly recommend just go get you one today. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank y'all so much. A long show today. Sorry about that, but hey, a lot of information. So we're glad y'all tuned in. And again, don't forget about tomorrow, bookmark it. Make sure y'all show up 10 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Central. And Belle Bruner will be hosting, taking my place tomorrow. And she's going to be talking all about that Juki 4000. It's the Kokochi. Yep, DX 4000 QVP. It is their top of the line machine. Super, super nice machine. And we got a little special package for it tomorrow. We're going to have some special financing for it, Roger. So y'all tune in, and she's going to actually show y'all some projects and things, and it should be a good time. So anyway, I hope that y'all have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend, and I'll see y'all here next week.